What if I told you that the instructions for rebuilding humanity after an apocalypse were already written? Standing tall in Elbert County, Georgia, was one of the most mysterious monuments ever built. Some called it the American Stonehenge. Others called it the 10 Commandments of the Antichrist. It wasn't built by a government. It wasn't built by a known billionaire. It was placed there by a ghost, a man who didn't exist. And on these massive granite slabs, a message was carved in 8 different languages. The first rule? To reduce the human population by 90%. Why was it built? Who was the mysterious R.C. Christian? And what did they know about the future that we don't? Today we are decoding the most controversial monument in modern history. The story begins on a Friday afternoon in June 1979. A man walked into the Elbert Granite Finishing Company. He was elegant, well-dressed, with gray hair and a calm voice. He looked like he belonged in a boardroom, not a dusty granite workshop. He introduced himself as R.C. Christian. He told the company president, Joe Fendley, that he wanted to build a monument, but not just any monument. He wanted a structure so massive, so complex, and so durable that it could survive the end of the world. Fendley, the owner, thought the man was crazy. He tried to discourage him. He quoted a price 3 times higher than normal. He said it would require heavy machinery, astronomers, and months of work. He expected the stranger to leave, but R.C. Christian didn't blink. He simply asked, "How long will it take?" He said he represented a small group of loyal Americans who had been planning this for 20 years. There was only one condition: total secrecy. R.C. Christian admitted that was not his real name. He signed a strict confidentiality agreement with the banker Wyatt Martin. He said, "Once this is built, you will never see me again." And he was right. After the money was transferred from different banks across the country to hide the source, R.C. Christian vanished into thin air. When the monument was unveiled on March 22, 1980, it was a masterpiece of engineering. We are talking about 109 tons of granite, 4 massive slabs, a center stone, and a capstone. But this wasn't just a pile of rocks. It was a clock, a calendar, and a compass. It was designed with such precision that a slot in the center stone aligned perfectly with the rising sun during the solstices and equinoxes. A small hole was drilled, so that if you looked through it at night, you would always see the North Star Polaris. Why go to such trouble? Why build a celestial calendar? Because in a post-apocalyptic world, when all technology is destroyed, when there is no electricity and no GPS, the survivors would need a way to track time and rebuild civilization. This monument was a time capsule, waiting for the end. The true terror, however, wasn't in the astronomy, it was in the text. Carved into the stone in 8 modern languages were 10 guidelines. They called it an age of reason. But to many it looked like a blueprint for tyranny. Let's look at the very first commandment. It reads, "Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature." Read that again. Under 500 million. At the time it was built, the world population was 4.4 billion. Today, we are 8 billion. For this commandment to be fulfilled, more than 90% of the human population would have to disappear. Is this a prediction, or is it a plan? Many theorists believe this confirms the New World Order agenda, a plan by the global elite to depopulate the Earth to a manageable level. It gets worse. The second guide says, "Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity." This sounds disturbingly like eugenics, the Nazi ideology of creating a master race by controlling who is allowed to have children. Who decides what is wise? Who decides who is fit to reproduce? The stones don't say. So, who is R.C. Christian? Investigators point to a secret society that has existed for centuries, the Rosicrucians. Their manifesto was written by a legendary figure named Christian Rosenkreuz. Notice the initials? R.C. Christian Rosenkreuz. The Rosicrucians are a group that blends Christianity with occult mysticism, alchemy, and secret knowledge. They believe in the age of reason. The stones themselves declare, "Let these be guide stones to an age of reason." It is almost certain that this monument was their legacy, left for the future. 6 feet underground, beneath the monument, a time capsule was buried. No date was inscribed for when it should be opened. Perhaps it wasn't meant for us. Perhaps it was meant for the survivors of whatever catastrophe they believed was coming. Whether it was a warning, a helpful guide, or a dark confession of a global agenda, the Georgia Guidestones remain one of the greatest mysteries of our time.